Addiction. Addiction is a personal struggle. Each individual is conquered by it in his or her own way.
My son was a senior in high school, and I got a call that he was arrested at lunchtime for going over to the church parking lot to smoke pot. And at that time, I guess as a parent you expect those things to happen, you know, they do happen. And after that, it was a relatively quiet period, maybe about a year or so, and my son had an accident and fractured his heel bone, and it was misdiagnosed, and they kept saying it was a heel, and it didn't heal, and he had to have major surgery and was put on pain medication. It seemed like from that point his life spiraled out of control, from one substance to another, until heroin use in his mid-20s. He told me that he felt normal, that he felt like he fit in when he was high on drugs. From the time we found out he was a heroin addict until the time he took his life was a year and a half. Actually, I knew nothing about addiction. I knew nothing about the ropes or where to go to get him help, and that part was a nightmare. I mean, you grasp at any kind of help you can find, and he's been gone. He died 8 years ago, so I've noticed now things are a little bit easier to maneuver in the treatment field.
Addiction. For the overwhelming majority, addiction left untreated becomes a slow, debilitating spiral into a life less lived, emptied of its full potential, where the greatest opportunities are lost and where what may have been can never be known.
Hi, my name's Josh. I'm 20 years old. I dropped out of school. I'll come through your window anytime for crystal meth.
I'm 49 years old, and I used to be a housewife, and now I smoke crack.
Addiction.
I first started taking drugs when I was 12 years old. And from there, it snowball effect to where I just went on to more drugs and more drugs and more drugs, to where I couldn't get enough. It was like air, breathe, and water to me, you know? And I just got so out of control that I didn't know who I was. I didn't even grow up yet. I didn't have a chance to grow up before I started using drugs. So I was so naive. I had no idea what I was doing. And then before you know it, I'm doing heroin, I'm doing cocaine, I'm doing all kinds of stuff. There was a lot of times where I'd come home high and my parents would be so oblivious. They had no idea what was going on. 5 minutes ago, I was a 12-year-old kid. Nobody understood me. Nobody could help me. Nobody knew what was going on. I was the trickster. I was pulling all their strings. You know, I was the one that was doing all the lying, and they did all the believing. So look for them certain things in your kids to where you know something's wrong. I was a hardcore heroin addict for 13 years. And some of the things I had to do that I'm very ashamed of. I went to Jackson Prison, and I did hard time because of my drugs. I've never been married. I have no children, thank God, because I wouldn't have been a very good father or husband, because I can barely take care of myself. Drugs have ruined my chances of many good jobs, many good opportunities. And it's all gone down the drains because of what I put on my veins. Remember, if you're a parent watching this, I'm somebody's son. I am somebody's brother. I am somebody's sister. My whole family has taken care of me all of my life because of my drug problem, especially my dad. You know, imagine the hurt that I've caused my family. You don't want to hurt your family because you always hurt the ones you love. So take heed. Listen to me. Don't do drugs.
Addiction. Do not despair. There is great hope. With knowledge, understanding, hard work, and dedication, addiction can be overcome.
Hope. I think that the person has to believe that two things. One is that they believe that they have what it takes to recover. And two, whatever treatments may be involved or the support that's involved will be enough for them to achieve recovery.
Addiction can be overcome.
Got checked into a treatment center and was there for 21 days. And I kind of knew when I was there that this is it. I was going to do, I just kind of formed a spiritual connection. I kind of had some resolve in my mind and my heart, and I knew this is how I was going to have to spend the rest of my life is in recovery. And I was okay with that for the first time. It made sense to me, and I could see becoming a sober person. I started to envision myself being a sober person and what that would look like, and I started to become more and more comfortable with that concept. What kept me back for all those years, I remember thinking, I'm not going to have any fun once I stop drinking, and my drinking was absolute misery toward the end, but yet I'd think back when it was fun.
Addiction can be overcome.
Given the right motivation, the right support, the right professional help, care, I believe that everyone is capable of fundamental change.
Addiction can be overcome.
You know, you could be in a room full of people, a room full of all of my friends and family, and just feel alone. But you know, here I am in rehab and with a room full of strangers, and you feel totally comforted, and that was great. I felt very motivated. I felt like I could really succeed. And about a week into it, I knew exactly what my purpose was, to be in this life. And it was to help. I'd always been a helpful person to other people, but I knew exactly that I was supposed to help other people in my situation to the best ability that I could, to see a better way of life and to help them.
Addiction can be overcome.
We set a plan in place based on the history and that person's individual characteristics, and then as we proceed, we look at what's working, what may not be working. We may have to revise the plan periodically.
Addiction can be overcome.
Hi, I'm Danny. 9 years ago, you wouldn't even know me. You wouldn't even recognize me. I was living in the streets. I had nothing. My whole life it fell apart. I was addicted to drugs and alcohol. I thought that my life would end up just being dead somewhere in a gutter. I was living literally under an overpass. All I would think about is where am I going to get my next fix. One night, I was buying some drugs, and I got arrested. And at first I'm thinking, this is terrible. How am I going to get a fix? I'm in jail. But thank God, the judge seen fit maybe to give me a chance in life. And they put me into rehab. My family gave up on me. My friends gave up on me. I fell down many times. I stumbled. But here it is. It's 9 years later. And I can truly say I've been clean and sober for going on 9 years. And I found my way in life. And I didn't do this for anybody else but me. I've got a job now. I'm making a good living. I got my own little apartment. I've got a car. I've got a savings account. I'm building my life back up. It's been really hard, but standing here right now, it's been worth it. I thank God that my parents are still alive because they gave up on me. But now I know I can go to church with my parents, and they introduce me as their son. And you have no idea how good that makes you feel. And I just thank God for a second opportunity to be their son again. and not the shell of a person I was before. Most of the people I knew on the street are dead. A lot of them were good people. They just couldn't get out.
Recovery is not an easy choice. It is filled with pitfalls and disappointments. The road is long, lonely, and winding, and it is easy to stumble and fall. But those who choose to overcome addiction must be willing to get up and try again. It is imperative that people attempting recovery be supported in their struggle by a loving, informed, determined family or support group and the best clinical treatment possible. Addiction is a disease. If it is to be overcome, everything we can do to defeat it must be done.